Hey, mamas, good morning. Good morning. So it's January, which means it's tax season. And you may not be thinking about taxes yet, but we need to start getting organized for 2019's taxes. So I'm going to go at this from two different perspectives, right? The first thing, I'm a really big believer that you need to have separate bank accounts and separate credit cards for your business, right? Because when you can capture all the transactions through a separate bank account and separate credit cards, your tax prep becomes so much easier, right? Because either you hire a bookkeeper to organize all the information for you or you do it. But everything is in one place, right? So for each of our businesses, we have a separate credit card that we just use for that business, and we have a bank account for that business. Sometimes we have savings accounts for those businesses as well, but we can containerize everything. So I know everything for Ingram Digital Media is in these accounts. I know everything having to do with my CPA firm is in these accounts. And I don't have to worry about oh, well, okay, there's personal accounts over here and, I paid cash for this. It doesn't happen because everything runs through the accounts for those businesses. So I'd highly recommend that if you don't have that in place for 2019, that you get it in place for 2020. Because then it's literally, you can get copies of all your bank statements, get copies of your credit card statements. You can give those to a bookkeeper, which if you need a bookkeeper, you can go to smallbizlife.com/hire and hire one of our bookkeeper training school bookkeepers who is certified in QuickBooks to help you get everything organized. They're doing such an amazing job, and they're helping businesses, and it's a great way for you to get that off your plate and not have to worry about it for tax season. Okay, so that's really easy getting ready for tax season if you just have all that information and you're ready to go. Now, how do you get ready for tax season if you don't have that in place? Okay, that's going to require you to do a lot more hunting. Okay, because you've got to figure out, what the first thing that I would do, if you don't have accounts for your business yet, is you need to sit down, you need to say, how did I pay for things? And how did I receive money? And I literally make a list, right? So I've talked about my videos before, my paper whiteboard. I sit down with a piece of paper and say, how did I get money in my business? Where'd it come from? So maybe it was PayPal or maybe it was Stripe. If that's the case, there's chaos downstairs. Can you hear the chaos? If that's the case, then you can go to those sources and get your income. And if your income was above $25,000 in any of those sources, then you should receive a 1099K. You might receive one if it's less than that, but that's the required threshold. Okay, so once you kind of identify, how did my income come in, right? Then you can start to think about, how am I going to reconstruct that for tax purposes? Then you have to think, how did I pay for things? If you paid cash for anything, you need to have receipts for that, right? And so hopefully you have some files and some folders and things where you can start to reconstruct that. Maybe you paid for some of it out of some accounts. Go pull all those statements. Here's the thing, right? So you want to audit proof yourself, right? So you want to make sure that you have the backup. Any expenses that you paid that were less than $75, you don't necessarily need a receipt for, right? Especially if it's meals. However, you need to make sure that you have documentation of who you had the meal with, what you discussed, and the business purpose, right? So if you have that, then that's okay. But you need to make sure that you have all that documentation, and most people don't. Now, this is my preference. If I'm your tax accountant, I don't want all your receipts. You need to make sure you have your receipts, okay? What I need from you is I need totals. And so what that means is that you're going to give me a total for your meals. You're going to give me a total for your office expenses. You're going to give me a total for your cost of goods sold. You're going to give me a total for your revenue. I don't want receipts. I don't want all that. I need you to put things in categories, right? And give me the totals for those categories. Now, if you're not sure about your categories, that's a good time to reach out to your tax accountant and ask them, what categories you should be using. But you can kind of tell, like if you start sorting out, especially if you're sorting receipts, which hopefully this is the last year you're ever going to do this, you're going to kind of see, oh, okay, I spent a lot of money kind of on like staples and office supplies. I spent a lot of money on postage. I spent a lot of money over here. And the categories are going to kind of naturally come. All right. So in Ingram Digital Media, we spend a lot of money on software, right? Because we do a lot with software. So that's one of the largest expenses in our business. So I think that it is, I hope that as you go through this process, that you say, you know what, next year I have to find a better way to do this. And I hope that you will finally, if you haven't already, open up the bank accounts that you need, and start to get yourself in order. I think a lot of people think that a bookkeeper is really expensive. But our bookkeepers start at $97 a month, and they will do all of this for you. They will organize all these transactions for you. So think about how amazing it would be if you woke up, in January and your bookkeeper said, okay, you're all set. You can just have your accountant log in to QuickBooks and get all your information. How awesome would that be? Doesn't that sound cool? That's what a bookkeeper can do for you. So again, the link is smallbizlife.com/hire. Okay, smallbizlife.com/hire. Let's get this bookkeeping off your plate. Let's get this mess off your plate, and let's get you organized for tax season. If you have any tax questions, any bookkeeping questions, feel free to shoot me a message. I'm happy to help you with this stuff. I'm a certified public accountant. I'm a tax professional. I have helped hundreds of businesses. I'm also a tax professor, so I have to stay up to date on all the latest rules and regulations. And I'm the founder of Bookkeeper Training School. I have almost 20 years of bookkeeping experience. So happy to help you however we can. Remember, smallbizlife.com/hire to get yourself a bookkeeper to help you clean everything up. All right, guys, I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye.